I am Slick Nick, the living legend. I've been driving the same car for 13 years, slightly over 13 years. This 2004 Honda Element that now has nearly 184,000 miles on it. It's never given me any mechanical issues at all. I was 24 years old when I bought this car. I was single when I bought this car. And since then, I've now been married over a decade and have 2 kids, and definitely have furthered my career along the way. 13 years of my life, this vehicle. And of course, when the deal worked out for the Jeep Wrangler, there was that part of me that thought, man, I feel kind of sad. Like, this has been a great car to me. And I don't want to get rid of it, but it's getting up in the miles, and I'm driving, 36, 40 miles a day to work, and a lot of congestion. But what will happen to my Element now that I'm getting the Jeep? So, the deal was that my parents can sell a car pretty easily in the small town they live in. But a perfect plan was arranged, and I was at my house, and I think my mom had texted me and said that you found a seller, or you found a buyer for the Element.
Yes.
And so we let you take the story from there about you finding the seller for it.
It was funny. We were thinking about, okay, who is this lucky person going to be who's going to get Nick's Element that has never given him any mechanical trouble? And we had thought, this is going to be a perfect car for a 16-year-old. Just getting their driver's license and drive it to school in a small town, and it won't give them any trouble. That's going to be a good car and a good deal. And then the more I got to thinking about it, I thought, wait a minute, I want it. I want the car. So I started running it by Jack, telling him about it. I said, oh, I see this as the perfect scenario to get this. It could be kind of like a farm truck. We go to Lowe's, and get plants, or our local feed and seed store, and get soil and potting soil. And so how perfect is the Element, the seats? I mean,
yeah. So the seats in an Element, instead of, they do fold all the way back, like if you want it completely flat, but they also fold up into the windows like this. So it's like a pickup truck. I had at one point I bought a huge big screen TV, and you would have had to have a pickup truck to haul it, or you just fold the seats up. But most remarkable is our couch upstairs at our house. We got an amazing deal on this couch, and it was like 30 miles away in the next town in Murfreesboro. And we were thinking, well, how are we going to get this to the house? We don't have a moving truck. And the conversation was taking place, well, I guess we're going to have to rent a U-Haul, because that's the only way we can haul this over there, and it's too good of a deal not to buy the couch. Well, sure enough, I folded the seats up into the sides. I got my seat, and I put the back leg completely straight up, and I moved the seat as far as I could into where the steering wheel was. And I was driving like this for 30 miles, but I got it to fit. I got a full couch to fit in that thing with the back hatchback closing, and it stayed shut. I mean, I didn't have a millimeter of grace in this thing, but it fit. And I remember that ride when I got out of the car. For like 30 minutes, I was still just like in this position and like twitching, but I made it work. And I have hauled a couch in this car. So it's funny because it really does have the capacity of a pickup truck, if not better, because it's covered and it's got no carpet in it. It's just all rubber mats.
If you can haul a couch in it, oh my goodness, we can haul trees in the fall. We like to add in a couple more trees, evergreens. So it's going to be perfect. It's just going to be perfect. Plants and soil and just mulch. What
I don't understand though, this idea of the farm truck, is because we've already got a F-150. So
that's all right.
Oh yeah, I saw Nick's Element as an extra vehicle for our family. Not only for us, for Nick and Jill, for our daughter Dana, Nick's sister and son-in-law. If anyone in our family has vehicle problems, or their car has to go into the shop for a while, that we would have an extra vehicle. We would have that extra vehicle. And so, and I've been wanting that for, it's kind of crazy in a way, but for the last year, that's what I've been wanting. I've just been wanting an extra vehicle, but I didn't see how that was going to happen. So when Nick got his Jeep, it just kind of...
and it was funny is you were already going to be responsible for selling my Element anyway.
And I bought it.
Yeah, which is like where I'm from in Nashville. You can't just put a car in a parking lot and easily sell it. But this is a small town. You can easily do that.
And they would jump at it, especially knowing it was your vehicle, very well taken care of. We have sold our vehicles before, and people would just like come back and say, do you have any more?
Yeah.
Because, you know, our vehicle's taken care of,
And
you know, our oil always got changed.
Coincidentally, when we were getting when you were getting the Jeep, you had to go to the credit union, I guess, for some of the transaction for the money of it. And you actually saw the man who bought my Ford Bronco that I had in high school.
Yes.
My '88 Ford Bronco.
Yes.
And he just happened to be there, and you're like, that's the Ford Bronco that you
Yeah, yes. Still on the road, and that guy, he loves it. Everyone tries to buy it from him. The same story, and it makes you feel good. You know you're going to sell a vehicle. And so, yeah, I knew that this vehicle, you know, this Honda Element, these last 13 years, that it has been very well taken care of. And I knew you didn't have any trouble with it. You said it had heat and air. Hey, my requirements, I like the heat and I like the air. Had a van one time that had heat and air problems, and I don't like that. We live in Alabama, so had heat and air and a new set of tires.
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
can't beat that. It has a new set of tires.
And I was saying this morning, I just, in the past few years, I replaced the motors for the electric windows. So, you know, because those lasted probably 8 or 9 years on the original, and then they just burned out. So you can freely move them up and down without worrying about them stopping. Because when I was in Nashville driving, you roll down the window, spit out the window, whatever, and then it just won't go up. And then I got to drive all the way to work and hope it doesn't rain. So yeah, even that is taken care of.
I know. And then with this all escalated, and then and we were saying, hey, it'd be great. We can take it to Lowe's. And then Jack came up with another idea that he can use it for.
Yeah, I'll drive it back and forth to work, so my truck doesn't have to sit outside all day and get those miles accumulated on it, because it is my retirement truck that's going to last me until I don't drive anymore.
And it's 5 years old, so it's still good.
Oh, yeah.
But and it's funny because how many miles? 6 miles away is how far you drive to work.
It's only got 34,000 miles on it now. So.
But that parking lot you work in is just bakes everything. There's no shield from the sun, and so.
And then on my Escape, I think I have 84,000 miles on. We've had it for 12 years now, so you know I don't have to drive very far. And when I did work,
it's funny that so this is a 2000. So this car's 15 years old, but then the car that you've been driving is how many? 12 years old?
Is 12.
Yeah, the Escape.
2007. Yes, 12.
So this old farm truck is really not much older than the car you have.
No.
Granted, it's got more miles. It's got, I guess, about 100,000 more miles, but.
And then it's a Honda, and that's another thing too. I've always heard, oh, Hondas, you can drive them. Most people drive Hondas, get 300,000 miles out of their Hondas. So it's like, wait a minute, there's still a lot of miles left on her.
Barely halfway. A little halfway.
So it's like, wow, this can like stretch our vehicle, our vehicles a little bit more.
It's funny. My closing thought on this is, it's like having a dog that's 13 years old, and it's lived a good life, but you don't want it to just kind of die in misery. You want it to, however long it's got left, you want to enjoy its life. So you send it away to the farm. It's like, and that's the language you used was farm truck, and it very much is like a truck. Honestly, it is.
Yeah.
And so you got 2 acres here out in the woods on top of a mountain in Alabama. So yeah, it's like an old dog that you just take out to the farm. And granted, unlike a dog that's 13 years old, hopefully, there's much more years left in this. And in fact, it's to me somewhat miraculous that I'm just now selling this, because for the past 4 years since we moved in our new house in Tennessee, we've been saying, okay, well, we need to get you a new car. We need to get you a new car. Let's save up money.
Yes, you have.
And so when the right deal came on the Jeep, we had the money in the bank and we went ahead and got it. But thankfully, it didn't break down in the meantime. We even had the conversation, okay, well, if it needs a new engine or new transmission, it might just be worth it just to get the new transmission or motor and just keep driving that, because that's how dependable it was. And in the long run, it'd save us money. But we never got to that point. I've never had any issues with it. And because it lasted all these years that we've been thinking, I need to get a new car, I was able to get the new car, pay for it, not owe any money, not finance it at all. We just had the money in the bank.
It's wonderful.
And so much of that is thanks to this thing still being a faithful vehicle. So, good story. And I just wanted to make this video to show the passing of the farm truck to the farm.
We promise to take very good care of her and to love her and take care of her as you have.
On the old farm.
On the old farm on Lookout Mountain, Alabama.
You got comments? They belong right here.